Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. RB Leipzig are trying to hijack Manchester United's move for Ajax manager Erik Ten Hag. Ten Hag is considering the offer. Now, according to Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic, talks between Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag are at an advanced stage. Earlier on this week, it said Manchester United were close to appointing Erik Ten Hag as the new permanent manager. The Manchester Evening News recently said that Erik Ten Hag dismissed the Manchester United job as rumours. A few weeks ago, he got interviewed for the Manchester United job, and Ten Hag told Man United chiefs he needs 5 years to overhaul the club. His release clause is around 1.6 million, which is cheap. Ten Hag has said that he wants to bring Robin Van Persie back to Old Trafford as part of his backroom staff. Robin Van Persie recently turned down the opportunity to work as a coach with Ten Hag at Man United. He said Ten Hag will target 3 Premier League players if he gets appointed in as Man United's manager. Those 3 players are Harry Kane, Declan Rice and Ruben Neves. You know, Ralph Rangnick has said quite a few times he wants Ten Hag to become Man United's next manager, and a lot of Manchester United fans would like to see him get recommended in. It'd be good for him to come and experience the Premier League. He's not yet managed in the Premier League. He's done well at Ajax. You know, at Hijack, he's developed the young players well. He's won a couple of Eredivisie titles with them. He's won some Dutch Cups, and back in 2019 he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals. Ten Hag got appointed in as the Ajax manager back in December 2017, so he's been the Ajax manager for over 4 years. His contract expires next year. He's the former Utrecht, Bayern Munich reserve and go-ahead Eagles manager. Mauricio Pochettino has been relentlessly linked with the managerial role at Man United. Not so long ago, Wayne Rooney told Man United to get Pochettino, and it said the vast majority of Man United players would like to see Pochettino become the club's next manager. Ralph Rangnick, he's been Man United's interim manager for over 3 months now. It initially said he's Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season, then he's expected to take up a consultancy role for a further 2 years. It said if Rangnick begins a consultancy role, he will only work 6 days a month. After the 1-0 defeat to Everton yesterday, Rangnick said it's going to be difficult for Man United to finish in the top 4. Well, Rangnick said earlier on this season his aim is for Man United to finish in the top 4 this season. there's been good performances under Rangnick. There's also been poor performances as well. But he's been totally blameless for the poor performances. You know, the players have had to take responsibility for the poor performances. You know, Manchester United need a new squad. Because there's a lot of players at the club that are not good enough. And there's some players that are good, but they're not proving how good they can be. You know, we are a team of individuals. We don't actually play as a team. That's why, you know, we're not consistent enough. But revert back to Rangnick, you know, he didn't get backed in the January transfer window this year. He's only enjoyed one transfer window as Man United manager. Before Man United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Don't forget earlier on this season he recommended Ewan Sharping as an assistant coach and analyst. He also recommended Chris Armisen as an assistant coach, and he recommended Saz Chalenzin as a sports psychologist, so he has made changes since he came in. You know, Manchester United have not been the same team since Ferguson retired, and a lot of Man United fans predicted it was all going to go wrong when Ferguson retired, which obviously it has done. We've got to accept that no one's going to replicate what he did at the club. You know, Alex Ferguson is the greatest manager of all time. You know, he won 30-odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles, so reflecting on that, he brought success to the club. You know, Ferguson, though, didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. Ferguson was Manchester United manager for around 26 years, so reflecting on that, he was a very long-serving manager. The only mistake Ferguson made was recommending David Moyes in when he retired, but the reasons he did that is because they're both Scottish, and at that time Ferguson had a lot of time for Moyes. Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. You know, we sacked David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, and last year Man United sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And Man United are not really known as a sacking football club. You know, Man United have not won the Premier League since 2013. We've only won 4 trophies in the last 10 years. And Man United have spent over 1.3 billion in the last 10 years. We've brought over 40 players in since Ferguson retired. Man United have not won a trophy since 2017, so we haven't won a trophy for 5 years. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. I don't like the way the football club has been run for a long time. The Glazers, they've been one of the biggest problems at the club for a long time. We've got to get them out. The Glazers have owned Manchester United for around 17 years. You know, the Glazers purchased the club for 500 million back in 2005. In the summer of this year, I'm expecting Manchester United to make signings. I think this summer we need to sign a midfielder, a defender and a striker. On the other side of things, I'm expecting a lot of players to depart the club this summer. You know, look at the players that Manchester United have got. So, we've got David De Gea. He's a world-class goalkeeper. He's not the best goalkeeper in the world now, but I'd still say he's one of the best in the world. You know, David De Gea has been sensational this season. De Gea was in goal in the 1-0 defeat to Everton yesterday. He was not at fault for Anthony Gordon's deflected goal. You know, wrong-footed De Gea. And De Gea made a fantastic save to deny Richie Arledson. You know, De Gea is our first choice goalkeeper. He reclaimed that number 1 spot back last year. Earlier on this year, De Gea got named the Premier League's Player of the Month for January. Well, he's won everything domestically at the football club. And he's made over 500 appearances for Man United in all competitions. Earlier on this season, De Gea said, "I don't see myself away from Man United." That was prior to the game against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League last 16. This season has been De Gea's 11th season at Man United. So he's been a long-serving player. He's been with us since the Ferguson era. De Gea's contract at Man United expires next year. You know, we've got Dean Henderson, that's a good goalkeeper, but we don't have a perception on him anymore because he doesn't really get in goal. You know, Dean Henderson has only made 3 appearances this season. Earlier on this season, Henderson got arrested for abusing his girlfriend. Towards the end of last season, though, Henderson got that number 1 jersey and he did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. Don't forget Henderson's got that experience behind him because before he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United and he's had other loan spells before with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. And he's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. I bet he regrets signing that new long-term contract. I think it was at the start of last season he signed that contract. I'm expecting Henderson to leave this summer. If he doesn't leave this summer, I reckon he will leave next year. We've got Tom Eaton, you know, he's our 3rd choice goalkeeper. Don't have a perception on him, obviously. You know, he's a squad player. You know, Heaton's just a backup. He did well in the pre-season games before the start of this season. Man United got Tom Eaton on a free transfer from Villa last summer, and at the time he signed a 2-year contract with an option of a 3rd year. 4th choice goalkeeper's Lee Grant. I think he's still at United. I'm expecting him to leave this summer. I think we got Lee Grant from Stoke. I only recall him making 1 appearance. I think that was against Astana a few years ago now in the Europa League, was it? We've got Wan-Bissaka now. He's inconsistent. Played against Everton yesterday. I thought defensively he did alright, but he lacks that attacking intent. You know, the attacking side of his game is terrible. And Wan-Bissaka is not our 1st choice right back under Rangnick. You know, Diego Dalot's been our 1st choice right back under Rangnick. Revert back to Bissaka, you know, this season's been his 3rd full season at Man United. Man United got Bissaka from Crystal Palace back in 2019. Got him for around £50 million. And obviously we have got Diego Dalot. He doesn't have a long-term future at Man United from now. He's not a great player. He's, you know, had his good games at United, especially under Rangnick. And like I said, Dalot's our 1st choice right back under Rangnick. Dalot's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation before. Last season, Dalot had a loan spell with AC Milan, so reflecting on that, he gained some experience. We brought Dalot in under Jose Mourinho. Man United got Dalot from Porto. We paid £19 million for him. His contract at Man United expires next year. You know, still got quite a lot of centre-halves in the team. You know, obviously we've got Harry Maguire. He's not good enough to represent the club. You know, Harry Maguire was not that good against Everton yesterday. I thought his passing was wayward at times. At times struggling to get out of his own half. And Everton's winning goal got deflected off Maguire. He said the other week that Harry Maguire's Man United future is in doubt. And he got booed for England the other week. I can't understand how Harry Maguire is still Man United captain. We need to take the captaincy off him. And throughout the course of this season, a lot of United fans have been demanding for the captaincy to be taken off him. But earlier on this season, Rangnick said that Maguire will remain Man United captain until the end of the season. What a waste of money Maguire was. You know, Man United paid £80 million for him. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment, and he's the 2nd most expensive sign at the club, behind Pogba. He's been at United over 2 years now, Maguire, and he's endured quite a few injuries since he came in. We've got Raphael Varane. He's a very good centre-half. He's regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced and he's got a good pedigree behind him. Because look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at Real Madrid. We'll get the best out of Varane, when we bring a world-class centre-half in this summer. Varane at the moment hasn't got a world-class centre-half alongside him. Varane missed the game against Everton recently because he's injured again. He had an injury scare for France not so long ago. He's enjoyed quite a few injuries in his playing career, and he's had quite a few injuries since he became a Man United player. Man United signed Varane from Real Madrid last summer. We paid 34 million up front. I think with add-ons it rises up to 41 or 42 million. Varane's got a contract with Man United until 2025. And there's an option of a further year. Another centre-half Man United have got, and that's Eric Bailly. I think Bailly is a good centre-half. But Bailly, is injury prone, which is definitely a concern. Plus, he doesn't get in the team now. Bailly lost his place in the team a while ago. Obviously, with the signing of Varane last summer. And for some reason, obviously, Lindelof's preferred to Bailly. Don't ask me why, because I think Bailly's a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. I think Bailly will leave Man United this summer, by the way. I thought he was going to leave in January this year. AC Milan tried to get Bailly in January. Man United got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016. Man United paid 30 million. Bailly's been at the club for over 5 years now. Back in April last year, he signed a contract with Man United until 2024. I think there's an option of a further year. Obviously, another centre-half we've got is Victor Lindelof. He's not good enough to represent the club. He'll leave Man United. I don't think he'll leave this summer, but I think he could leave next year. Lindelof is no longer one of our first choice centre-halves, obviously because of the signing of Varane last summer. But Lindelof, he's had his good games at United, and he's played a lot of games alongside Maguire. Lindelof and Maguire do not complement each other in our back line. He's played games alongside Bailly. He's played some games alongside Varane, and I think he's played alongside Jones as Lindelof. Man United got Lindelof from Benfica back in 2017, got him for £31 million. And he's got a contract with Man United until 2024. And we've got Phil Jones. Phil Jones doesn't really get in the team, does he? Don't forget, Jones started in the game against Wolves at Old Trafford earlier on this season, and that was his first Premier League appearance since January 2020. At one point, Jones was out with a knee injury for a while. He'll leave Man United this summer, I think, unless he leaves next year. This season has been Phil Jones' 11th season at Man United, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. Did you know he's the only outfield player that's still with us from the Ferguson era? His contract at Man United expires next year. Man United got Phil Jones from Blackburn. So there are centre-halves, and obviously we've got two left-backs. We've got Alex Telles. I think he's a decent left-back, and has appeared to be our first choice left back under Rangnick. Telles has had his good games under Rangnick, to be fair. Telles played yesterday against Everton, obviously because Luke Shaw wasn't available because Shaw's out with injury at the moment. Telles did alright in some parts of the game against Everton yesterday. Like I said on the play ratings, he saw plenty of the ball and he made some good runs and that, and he got in some decent positions, but his deliveries weren't too good. Do you think Telles will leave Man United this summer? Because he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation before. The reason Man United brought Telles in was to provide competition for Luke Shaw. We got Telles from Porto back in 2020, didn't we? And we've got Luke Shaw. I don't think he's good enough anymore, Luke Shaw. I think the best season he's enjoyed at United was last season. You know, like I just said, Shaw's out of injury at the moment. He's injury prone, which is a concern. And the other week, Shaw came out and said that he prefers playing for England than Man United. You know, Shaw could possibly leave the club when his contract expires next year. I don't think he'll leave this summer. Shaw's been at Manchester United for 8 years, so reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. We've got quite a lot of midfielders in our team as well. You know, we've got Paul Pogba. I do think Paul Pogba is a good player. He's not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. There's a very good chance that Paul Pogba will be leaving Man United this summer. Well, he's out of contract at Man United in the summer. The Manchester Evening News said not so long ago that PSG made an offer for Paul Pogba. And the Man United dressing room believe Pogba's gone, and Wayne Rooney's backed Pogba to leave. He's also backed Ronaldo to leave this summer. Earlier on this season, Pogba was out with injury for a while. Well, he's endured quite a few injuries since he re-signed for the club, so he is injury prone. This season has been his 6th season at Man United since he re-signed. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far, and he's played over 200 games since he re-signed. And he's our most expensive sign at the moment because Manchester United paid £89 million for him. We had him when he was a lot younger under the Ferguson era, but had to let him go due to limited appearances. We've also got Fred. You know, he's not good enough to represent the club. Fred has played a hell of a lot of games alongside McTominay in the centre midfield. You know, Fred and McTominay do not complement each other. Fred's played some games alongside Matic as well. I think he's also played alongside Pogba. You know, Fred has had his good games at United, especially under Rangnick. Fred, of course, played yesterday against Everton. Had a quiet game. Well, he came off injured in the 36th minute. Fred scored the equaliser in the 1-1 draw against Leicester last weekend. Man United got Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk quite a few years ago. Got him for £50 million. Scott McTominay, you know, he's not good enough to represent the club. Do you think we could consider offloading him at some point? Maybe next year. I don't think he'll leave this summer. McTominay missed the game against Everton yesterday because he had an injury. McTominay's been part of the club for a long time. He came up our academy and that. Revert back to 2020. He committed his future to the club because he signed a 5-year contract with Man United. We've also got Matic. I don't think Matic is good enough either, but he has had his good games at United. You know, Matic played alongside Fred in the centre midfield yesterday. Weren't that good. You know, Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he's still being given his opportunities. He's the only predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got at the moment. Matic will leave Man United, I think, this summer. He's out of contract this summer. Man United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017, got him for £40 million. I've always had my reservations about him because he's always been a static midfielder, plus he's ageing up. We've obviously got Bruno Fernandes. You know, Bruno Fernandes is one of our best players and he's certainly one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. We've struggled to get the best out of Bruno Fernandes since Man United re-signed Ronaldo. I think Fernandes has enjoyed a lot of poor games this season. He was far superior last season to how he has been this season. You know, Fernandes played against Everton yesterday. I thought he was quite poor. I think he created some opportunities in the game. There was one part where he played a lovely ball to find Marcus Rashford. Not so long ago, Fernandes signed a contract with Man United until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. You know, Fernandes' wages doubled to £240,000 a week. Fernandes has been a United player for over 2 years. Man United got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Man United initially paid around £47 million. And we have Jesse Lingard as well. He's not good enough. Well, Jesse Lingard doesn't get in the team much now, does he? So, don't have a great deal of a perception on him. Lingard will leave Man United this summer. He should have left in January, but Man United blocked his exit. You know, he has been part of the club for a long time. He came up our academy in that. The second half of last season, he enjoyed a 4-month loan spell with West Ham. Marcus Rashford, I think he's a good player overall. But for me, Rashford has been poor this season in a lot of games. He hasn't been the same player since he had that operation on his shoulder. He missed the first 2 months of this season with that shoulder problem. And earlier on this season had a minor leg injury. Rashford played against Everton yesterday. He did alright in parts. He had 2 good early chances. You know, Jordan Pickford made 2 good saves to deny him. I can't understand why we took Marcus Rashford off yesterday. He was dropped out of the starting lineup against Leicester last weekend. You know, Rashford could leave Man United this summer because he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. But there again, prior to the Everton game, it said Man United want Marcus Rashford to stay at the club this summer, despite his wretched run of form. Earlier on this season, Marcus Rashford told his friends he wants to quit Man United, and Fabrizio Romano said earlier on this season that Rashford was considering his future with the club as he was concerned about his lack of playing time. You know, Rashford's contract at Man United expires next year. He has been part of the club for a long time. He came up our academy in that. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he broke into our senior squad back in 2016, and since then he's gone on to make over 300 appearances in all competitions. Rashford can play on the left, he can play on the right wing, and he can play up top, but you seem to get the best out of him when he plays on the left wing. You know, when he plays on the left wing sometimes, you know, he rotates to the right wing. I think he did that yesterday against Everton. We've also got Edison Cavani as well. I think Edison Cavani's had a lot of good games since he came to Man United, you know. He's had poor games as well. Cavani's not available at the moment anyway because he's out with injury. Not so long ago had a groin injury. He's had quite a few injuries since he came to the club, Cavani. I'm expecting Cavani to leave this summer. He's out of contract this summer. Not so long ago it said Cavani was close to agreeing a move to Real Sociedad. He held talks with Real Sociedad. And he's also been linked with a move to Brazil. We got him on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. You know, we've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo's leaving Man United this summer. Ronaldo did play against Everton yesterday. It was poor. He did have a late chance. Jordan Pickford blocked it, and he got a yellow card in the game. As you all know, the police have been investigating what Cristiano Ronaldo has done. Ronaldo smashed Everton supporters' phone. Ronaldo, though, has apologised for the mobile phone incident at Everton. You know, Ronaldo could get arrested for this. You know, Ronaldo, since he re-signed, he's scored 18 goals in all competitions. He's got over 800 goals in his career. And Man United re-signed Ronaldo last summer for 20 million with add-ons included. His contract at Man United expires next year. There's an option of a further year. He's the highest earner at Man United at the moment. He earns, $500,000 a week? Almost £500,000 a week. don't forget, Ronaldo got voted Player of the Month for March, which was last month. He's won over 30 trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. Ronaldo didn't play against Leicester last week because of illness. You know, we've got Jadon Sancho. He's not good enough. You know, he's done nowhere near as well as a lot of Man United fans expected. He has had his good games though at United. We've got Anthony Elanga, that's a good player. He's got a long-term future, I reckon, at Man United as Elanga. And, you know, we've got Juan Mata as well. Don't have a perception on him anymore because he doesn't get in the team. You know, he lost his place in the team a while ago. But Mata did come on against Everton yesterday. Mata's had a good career at Man United. You know, Mata's been at Manchester United for 8 years. So reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. We got him from Chelsea back in 2014 for 37.1 million. Mata will leave Man United this summer. He's out of contract this summer. We've got that Hannibal Mejbri as well. He's a young player. I think he has made a few first team appearances. So there you go. But, you know, with the squad we've got, you know, we should be, you know, at least competing for the title or even winning the title. You know, we've spent more money than Liverpool. I think we've also spent more money than Manchester City. But always spending big doesn't guarantee you success. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.